Alright, so we're inside the C4, and as you can see I have the dash and center console apart. So I'm kind of bringing you guys into this in the middle of it. You haven't really missed much. I've just basically taken out a bunch of screws. What I'm trying to do is repair the climate control. This is something that's never really worked since I've had the car. And when it would work, it would just be intermittent and not work, you know, properly. So I wanted to get this fixed, and I took it out and bought a repair kit to try and fix it myself. And I may or may not have broken it even more. What I ended up doing was buying a rebuilt unit from eBay, and we're gonna throw that in today and see if it works. This is from apparently an 86 Corvette, but again, it should be rebuilt, and it does come with like a 1-year warranty, so that's pretty cool. And we're gonna throw it in and see if it works better than the old one. Fingers crossed that it will. One other thing I'm gonna do while I have everything apart is replace all the light bulbs behind the information center. Okay guys, so I got it plugged in just into that green plug that you saw back there. It does take some finagling of the center shifter plate, but it's plugged in. I've just got it loosely in place. Just wanna test it out. Let's see if we can get it to work. Get that out of the way. So far so good. With the old unit, I could never turn on the heat, so I'm not sure if the heat works in this car. It was just stuck in the auto mode with the cool setting on high, and that's all I got. So I'm interested to let the car warm up and see if I can get the heat to work. So I don't think this unit is working very well, guys. Sometimes it just cuts off and turns all the way off, and I don't see anything like that. Just seems like it's kind of twitching out a little bit. Which isn't good, so I'm definitely gonna contact the seller and try and get this back to him and get a different one, because it should not be doing that. Weird, huh? Sorry guys, that sucks. That's a fail. I'll keep you posted on that. I'm also gonna hold off on replacing the bulbs for the information center. I'll just do that right before I button everything up in a future video. All right guys, so it's a few days later. I'll give you an update on the climate control later on in the video, but let's get back to the rear hatch area and button this up. So as you can see right here, we have a package. This is the rear trim panels for the rear hatch area. I got it from eBay. Obviously you can see the seller there is Vet Masters. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you guys that I should put links to the parts that I use in the description below, which I will be better at doing, so just keep an eye out for that. And with that said, let's get this box open and start putting things back together. Okay guys, I got things in place and just kind of mocked up here. I haven't reinstalled any of the screws. So far the fitment seems to be okay. I think once I get all the screws in place, the plastic may relax a little bit and go into place a little bit better, but we'll see. Seems to be nice, good quality plastic though, so we'll find out. I'm gonna start installing the screws and then reinstalling the gas struts, and we'll go from there. All right guys, so I got all the panels reinstalled and all the screws back in. Check it out. So these panels did end up fitting pretty good. I'm sure once the car sits in the sun for a little bit and this plastic warms up and gets settled in, it'll fit even better. Struts are in and the defrost connections are hooked back up. Yep. That's nice. So just as a recap, guys, let me show you where all the screws are one more time. So there's that screw, and that's part of the halo. For this side panel, you have 1, 2, and 3. And this one connects this side panel with the rear trim piece as well. So for the rear trim piece, you have 1, and then 4, and then 1 more over here. So same thing for this passenger side panel. So 1, 2, 3, and then the halo screw. Honestly, guys, I think GM could have done a little bit better of a job with these screw hole locations. They could have been aligned a little bit better. Some of them have to go in a little bit sideways, and I don't think it's this aftermarket trim piece. I looked at the original piece that I had, and you could tell that the screws were putting pressure on the plastic at kind of an angle. So just be careful with that. Also, don't go crazy with these screws. Just tighten them just till they're snug, and that'll be good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna put these lights back in, and that should wrap this up. So when you're putting these back in, you want to tuck this bottom tab right here in first, just into the opening, and then it should sit in place, and then you just pop it in. Just like that. And then the cover, there's just 2 tabs that go in right there, and then pop it on, just like that. All right, lights are back in and working. So I'm gonna shut this and then open it again because I can. And one thing I've noticed is I have to apply a lot more pressure on the hatch to shut it. And that's just because everything's new. The gas struts are new, the weather stripping's new, this rear trim panel's new, and it has these rubber bumpers. So those are probably really stiff. Here we go, let's shut it. Let me know in the comments if you guys think it's too hard for me to shut, because I really have to put all my weight on this thing. So I may need to adjust the latching mechanism, just bring it up a little bit, just because it seems pretty hard to shut. But again, the weather stripping may relax and the plastic may relax once it sits in the sun for a little bit and settles in. Let's go ahead and open this bad boy. Boom. That is nice. So the last thing I need to do, guys, is just apply some dielectric grease to the weather stripping, just to kind of preserve it and keep it moist and strong, especially in these corners. So I'll do that off camera. There's not much to see there. So let me give you guys a quick update on the climate control. So as you noticed earlier in the video, it wasn't working, so I sent it back to the seller. He said he'd replace it. I'm just waiting on the new one to come. I'm really hoping that the one he sends me works. Once I get it back, I'll put it back in. I will give you guys some tips on how to remove the panels that I took off. The shifter plate was pretty problematic, so I'll give you some pointers there, and then just show you how I put everything back together, and that'll give you an idea of how it comes apart. So more to come on that, guys. Stay tuned, and I will link all the parts I used in this video in the description below. So that includes the gas struts, these trim panels for the rear hatch area, and then I also bought these interior screws for these panels back here, just because I was missing a bunch. So the screws are pretty cheap. They're like $3, and then the shipping was expensive. It was like 10 bucks. So you guys could probably find a better deal somewhere else. These panels came out to about 130 bucks, which I think is a pretty good deal. They fit pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I do not remember how much these gas struts were, but I'm guessing like 20 bucks a piece. Check out the link below to get an exact price. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this stuff is helpful. Based on the comments most of you are leaving, it is. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out, and it helps out the channel. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll give you guys one more because it's awesome.